me in the fires of hope and prayer. With boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare. Side by side we stand, islands of the blue Caribbean Sea, this our native land. We pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our
Heavenly Father, we come before you at the start of this new day, giving thanks for life, for health, and the opportunity to serve through this station. We ask for your divine presence to guide us in all we do. Bless this broadcast, that it may be a source of inspiration, joy, and unity to all who tune in. Whether near or far, may our words uplift, our music heal, and our message bring light to those who need it most. We pray for our listeners, wherever they may be. Grant them strength for the day ahead, peace in their hearts, and success in all they put their hands to. Cover those traveling with your protection, and those at home with your comfort and provision. Lord, may everything we do bring honor to you and be a blessing to others. Guide our steps, bless our efforts, and let this station be a vessel of positivity and hope. In your name we pray. Amen.
Your voice, your soundtrack, your station. New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Better Japanese Monday with a breakout story. Melda oh, why you gone away? I give you love, all my love. Just the other day, you was laying next to me, but now you're far away. I'll confess these feelings. Are you listening? She said never again. Says ya never again. Ya can't call it pay. Says ya never again. At the end of the day, you ain't gonna change your ways. No come back again. Nah. Where else I go? Without you, my darling, it's pressure for so. When you ain't back on there, where else I go? Without you, my darling, it's pressure for so. When you ain't back on there, I'm missing you. Look how I'm missing you. Every day I'm missing you. Yeah, I'm missing you. Mellow, look, you're gone again. Say I'm never home. Carnival come again. You say you're vexed with me. Tell the whole about that Spain. I'll address your feelings, just let me explain. She said never again. Says ya never again. Ya can't call it pay. Says ya never again. At the end of the day, you ain't gonna change your ways. You come back again. Nah. Where else I go? Without you, my darling, it's pressure for so. When you ain't back on there, where else I go? Without you, my darling, it's pressure for so. I'm missing you. Every day I'm missing you. Yeah, I'm missing you.
Wake up, rise up. It's the Net Radio Breakfast Show, bringing you the energy, music, and vibes to start your day right.
And of course, that is our sole purpose, to make sure that we start your day right. No better way and no better place to start your day than right here on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio. Get caught up in the net, people. As we welcome everybody wherever you may be. It's good to have you. Thank you very much for tuning in, tuning on, logging on. And I hope that your stay is going to be a fantastic one with us. Trust me, we're in the hospitality business, yeah. So we're going to make sure that your stay is a beautiful one that you will share with others. And of course, looking forward to when you come back with more people next time, yeah. Sir Charles, that's me. It's now 8 minutes past the hour of 6 o'clock, sorry. What am I going with that? And we're glad to have you because this is your New Era TT Breakfast Show.
Yeah. Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The breakfast show got the vibes turned on. From Morocco's Bay to the Savannah line. Let's start the day in Caribbean prime. Good vibes rolling through the air. The breakfast show, energy everywhere. We talk, we laugh, we make you think. Grab your doubles or your morning drink.
Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast Show on this Tuesday morning. I always have to kind of remember what day it is because days are blurred for me these days because I'm you're doing so many things. I'm of course one of the main things being theater. Welcome to the Breakfast Show, and of course it is Tuesday morning, and it's a lovely day today. So I'm no big fan of the rain. I always say let rain fall between 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning, or 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning, and then leave people in peace to get around whatever they need to do. So over to you, Wendell.
Good morning, Richard. Good morning, Sir Charles. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. And good morning, listeners and viewers all over this wonderful, but sometimes so very messed up globe of ours. We are here. We are happy to be in the land of the living. We are so thankful that you saying you struggling. I haven't done radio on a Tuesday in a long while. Only now and then I used to come in on a Tuesday and a Thursday for you all. I was a Monday, Wednesday, Friday man for the last few years. Well, wow. You understand? So it's an adjustment for me, trust me. To get up every morning. And of course, we have this little thing, folks. I don't know if you are. Well, we're going to let you in on a little secret where we call one another. We do a group call before we actually start the show, right? You see this producer, you don't make joke, eh? It's one or two of them. The two producers, I should say, right? Because two producers we are, right? They don't make joke. They make that call in the morning, and I have to be up and ready and sounding like I'm perky, like I've had my coffee or I've had.
Well, you see, I have mine.
I see you have yours. And last night, this morning was especially tough because last night I went to that PNM meeting in La Horquetta. Ooh, what a meeting! Way, if you see people, well, then people come from I don't know.
Well,
Foster.
Right about now, they are turning up the heat because even in my area here in the Tunapuna area, yesterday, like all around 2:30, going for 4, like place just started getting noisy. People just all over the place, all kind of good music. I mean, it's no quiet time.
Well, yeah, Tunapuna is a hotbed of activity in terms of the candidates. Tunapuna and St. Joseph, there's a lot of activity there. Yeah. So I spoke with Esmond Ford last evening, and he agreed to do an interview with us. And so did Roger Monroe. because we haven't had anybody from the PNM, well, except Larry Lala, who joined the PNM at this stage. We haven't really had any PNM person per se. And we'll try to get Prime Minister Young. I'm sure he'll agree. Prime Minister Stuart Young next week, the week leading up to the actual election. All right? So stay tuned for that.
Yeah. And of course, our guest today would be Kezel Jackson of the All People's Party. She'll be joining us. Huh?
The leader of the All People's Party.
Yeah, she's the leader of the All People's Party, and she will be on in the 7 to 8 hour. She'll be joining us for a conversation on where is her party at and how do they feel about the elections, and well, we get a sense of why you should vote for the APP. We'll be talking to Kezel Jackson in the 17 hours, so that's something for you to look forward to.
And one of the good news that I have is, I know it's not officially the good news segment, but our show, yes,
the good news segment. What you're talking about it for?
No, well, I'm just saying it's not my good news. I have another
segment. If it's not a good news segment,
no,
then what are you talking about it for? Because there is a good news segment.
Mr. Producer, this is not my good news. This is just another good news. My good news is I have it, but this is just another good news, and it's about the program yesterday with Michaela Pandey. We have had more views than we have ever had since we started. We have had more views than we used to have before.
And that's just another place. And that's just another platform.
Michaela Pandey show yesterday. And I would imagine the show is going to go through the roof.
Yeah, I'm sorry she didn't turn on her camera, and I was speaking to her what should I call them, assistants. There was two different people I was speaking to, and they were trying to message her to turn on her camera, because you do yourself a disservice as a political leader when you don't turn on your camera.
Yes.
And I don't know if anybody advised her with that. I mean, she had a reason. Whatever her reason was, but people, you're always more persuasive as a human being when you're discussing issues of persuasion, and politics is about persuasion. It always is. So you do yourself a disservice when people can't see you while you talk about whatever issue, because it becomes a wall between you and the people that you're speaking to. But as I said, she explained it. She had a valid reason why she couldn't. But yes, it does itself a disservice.
Yeah. People want to see, and the people do body language checks.
Right. Because human beings relate to body language. They look at your face when you're talking to them about issues of honesty, transparency, and stuff like that. And they want to see you. They want to see your expression. And you persuade people best when you're watching them and you're talking to them and stuff like that.
Yes.
Pastors wouldn't have anybody paying their tithes if they were behind a big curtain and just talking.
You'd be surprised.
Oh, did I see that on here? Oh, sorry.
Oh gosh. Anyway.
Yes, so you let know the church trade secrets.
Let me see if I have birthdays before I greet the people who have already greeted us this morning. And boy, be they see you don't sleep. You're like me. If you see boy, be they see send a message at 5:21.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let me get my birthdays first before I greet those on air. Chat a bit, Richard. Chat a bit. These things just take a little while before it comes.
Yeah, well, with you, I know you're slower, but but so lots of stuff going on. Of course, we are beyond the good news, and we have plenty of good news this morning apparently, because Wendell told me that. But what he has as a good news is one that I noted. Because when you're looking for good news, when you're conscious that you need good news, you kind of listen around for what's going on and make a note of it. You make a mental note,
Yes.
So
let me do birthdays. Let me do birthdays because I know you'll be excited to get into good news. Paul Leacock, former chairman of Tunapuna Piako. Today is his birthday. Happy birthday, Paul. We limed last night.
I'm not going to ask if he wasn't in Lauketa.
Of course he was there.
Yeah.
Clayton Blackman.
I don't like a lot of blankets. People got a lot of new roofs over the last. Well, I know they got this in 2020. What they got this time around?
Well, no, in 2020 they get fridge and stove and microwave and thing too. Remember? Yeah, people outfit the whole house courtesy of particular candidate. In 2020.
Blanket, I love PNM.
Cuba North might love anyway, let me behave myself. But well, in a kind of roundabout way, Richard, you're right. They would have loved the PNM, but they didn't get those things from the PNM candidate,
They get it from no, they got roofs and stuff like that. That's why I was talking. I know what you feel. I don't know what I'm talking about, Wendell.
All right, okay. All right.
You feel I don't know what I'm talking about.
Right, I don't know what you're talking about now. Oh God! Happy birthday, Burton Taylor. Hey, that is my neighbor. Okay. Happy birthday, Hazrat Hussein and Lizma Robin. Those are my birthdays today, April 15th. All right.
Today was Sheldon Augustine's birthday, who you were standing up next to. Remember I told you yesterday after the show, I said, look at Sheldon's birthday because Alexa was reminding me. But Alexa was really telling me it's tomorrow. So today's his birthday, so I could say a big happy birthday to Sheldon. You stood up to that last night.
Oh, I didn't. You told me that, Richard, and I clean forget to wish Sheldon happy birthday.
Yeah, so today's his birthday, so happy birthday to Sheldon.
Happy birthday, Sheldon.
Yeah. One of my
Boy
good friends
says good morning from David.
Who's that?
Hello?
Boy Bidesi. Oh, you're going through the comments.
Yeah, going through the comments now. Susan Jessup, of course. Good morning, Sir Charles, Richard Wendell. Love always from Susan, Suzette, and Miss Gemma. Melissa from Charflair. Ingrid from Tucson, Arizona. Carol Guevara. Wayne Ramsey, good morning out there in Fort Lauderdale. Marcia Rock. Champion of Democracy. Good morning, gentlemen. Blessings to all listeners and viewers. Steph says good morning. You come back from the gym already, right? I hear you all having a peek. Rena Buru Jennings.
Oh, you check yourself. You check yourself last minute there.
Steph nearly set me up, you see. Raymond Roberts, good morning. Sherwin Kerr, hi guys, good morning. I am making my debut on New Era TV. Happy to tune in, and we are welcome to have you. We are happy to have you. Ambrose Blah says good morning to the good men on the People's Breakfast Show. Cheryl Johnson, morning guys. David Wares, good morning. What other platforms are you on? Sir Charles will inform you soon. Cheppy65, happy birthday to me. Chester Giuseppe, happy birthday, Chester. You have new name though, brand new name, and happy birthday. CJ from New York says good morning everyone, happy Tuesday. DL says good morning all. Richard, you could be a political consultant to guide candidates on how to present themselves to the voters. Well, yeah, Richard is a lot of people don't know half of Richard's talent. CAT Consulting Services, who is Chris Tuser. Good morning, Chris Tuser. Salvatore Trancoso, who's someone who messaged me a while ago and asked me how to find the show, says, good morning, gentlemen. First-time viewer. It's good to see good presenters who will keep it real, and we are happy to have you, Salvatore. Miguel Gonzalez says, good morning, people from Kumuto. And Sabita BSA says, good morning, guys. Finally, I got through to the station. I'm happy to be on. And we are happy to have you. All right, so we will read for more greetings as they come in.
Yeah, let me just let you know what we have here. Well, Susan is also here. Robert is also here. Good morning to Doreen Pierre. Doreen says, so glad to have you guys. And also to Black Pearl. Good morning and thanks for being here, everybody.
All right. And just Soja Ramkalawan just jumped in. Good morning, guys. All right.
All right. So it's the power and the Jesus God.
Yeah.
Forgive me, radio God. But
well, for a while, don't beat up on yourself.
Well, because it's an automatic thing that you've said for years and years and years. But it's the breakfast show, I mean, same people, different names slightly. So yeah, it's the breakfast show on this Tuesday morning, and we're going to have the news segment at this point. You know, we always like to start with a little bit good news, a little bit of good news, which actually was motivated by listeners in our prior formation that used to say, you know, you should start the program with some good news. So here's our good news for today.
All right. So my good news today, of course, is over the last few days. I can't remember if it was yesterday itself, or I think it might have been Friday. Says you're getting buffered, yeah. Trinidad and Tobago's TNT's Minister of Works and Transport, Rohan Sinanan, and Nigeria's Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, signed Trinidad and Tobago's first bilateral air services agreement with an African nation. Yeah! According to Works and Transport Minister Rohan Sinanan, the conversation between Trinidad and Tobago and Nigeria began in 2003 and will allow airlines to transport both passengers and cargo between Trinidad and Tobago and Nigeria. The agreement was signed a few minutes ago at Piako International Airport. Isn't that great news?
That is good news.
To Nigeria?
Yeah, that's great news.
Oh.
Yeah, to finally have a direct flight from the Caribbean. I don't think there's a direct flight from the Caribbean to the African continent at all.
No, I think they did once.
I don't know if it happens in Puerto Rico. Is there one from Barbados?
They did one once. I think only once they did it from Barbados.
Oh, okay. Like, I don't know if Puerto Rico does it or if the Dominican Republic does it. I have no clue. I don't think so, but it would be, it would be great to have a direct flight, because you have to go through a roundabout way to get there right now, don't you? You have to go to London.
Yes.
Or to some European country and and in transit to get to the African continent. So that really is good news. Other good news, of course, is that the online renewal of your driver's permit is now active. So you can actually now renew your driver's permit online. It's an online process. And I was like, wow, okay, finally. Because, this has been something that we have been advocating for a while. In addition to, there's several things. Every time we speak to the Commissioner of Transport, we speak about things about where's the digitization process, because I think they have the Guinness World of Records for the longest digitization process ever on planet Earth. In terms of that licensing office, because that was ongoing since Manning days. That was ongoing. And so anyway, they're finally getting somewhere. And so we have online renewal of driver's permits. And I was saying, wow, I wonder if the rest of the Caribbean is as now as, progressive as we are. And I managed to come upon this.
Is your Barbados driver's license expired? Here's what to do next. Expired driver's licenses must be returned to the Barbados Licensing Authority at the Pine St. Michael. Licenses expired for 3 years or more cannot be renewed online. They must be renewed in person. First-time drivers must register and pay in person at the Barbados Licensing Authority. Drivers 70 years and over can renew their license for 1 year only, but they must first visit the Barbados Revenue Authority with a recent medical doctor certificate. Do you live outside of Barbados? Make your payment online, return your old license and have your new license sent to you by courier, or authorize someone by letter to collect on your behalf. Remember these key tips when renewing your driver's license.
So Barbados has that online process, right? That you can renew your license online, according to the Barbados Authority there. And that's from since 2020. And I'm like, oh God, Trinidad.
Blame it on COVID.
Trinidad is my land, and of this I am
proud and glad.
Yeah. And I'm thinking 5 years ago, that video is from 5 years ago from the Barbados, Transport Authority, and I'm like, so they had the facility to do online renewals since 2020 with 2025, and And so my joy turned to a little bit, I'm competitive with. I am a competitive Trinidadian, a competitive Trinbagonian. So I always believe we have to be the best at everything.
Yes.
I just had to shut up and move on last night.
I would have noted though, Richard, that Barbados, you must return your expired driver's permit. I don't think we have to do that here.
Well, I think according to that, once it's over 3 years.
Okay.
According to what they were saying, I was trying to understand it because their video could have been a little bit more clear, in my opinion. But who am I? I'm not from Barbados.
You're not from Barbados. Isn't that where you studied law though?
I did for 2 years.
Okay. Well, you're halfway.
So I know it in a kind of way.
All right.
In a kind of way. So that's all good news. But you know what else is happening? There was a big furor yesterday. Well, I shouldn't say a big furor, but Jack Warner certainly raised, was featured yesterday, let me put it that way, in a lot of the media. Jack Warner, because of a statement that Marvin Gonzalez would have said on a platform, whereby he said, you know what? Rather than me quoting what Marvin Gonzalez said,
made a decision and put Jack Warner as your representative in 2020 because he ran against me. I put him in the blasted box. He ran against me in 2020, parading himself up and down, blaming all kinds of things about the PNM, not telling you that his major objective of running for office is to escape extradition in the United States of America. You think he cared about the Lopino historical site? You think he cared about the Lopino historical site? You think he cared about Tony Ravin Road? You think he cared about that Lopino water treatment plant? You think he cared about that Diamond Hill Road? You think he cared about San Francisco Road? You think he cared about your lights on Lopino Road? They are a bunch of crooks. And we have a responsibility here on April the 28th to put Jack in the box once and for all, and let us bury him in the Lopino cemetery.
Oh boy.
So that part of of the speech where he says we should put him in a box and bury him in the Lopino cemetery, Jack Warner took umbrage at and said it was like a threat. A threat to his person, basically. So that made news yesterday. And some people, of course, on social media were like to similarly to influencers threatening, etc., etc.
Yeah. I would avoid that, Marvin Gonzalez. Avoid words like that. I mean, I think they were also comparing it to, well, not comparing it, but they were also disappointed in Sean Sobers, whom I like. I like Sean Sobers. I was happy he got a safe seat. He got Anita Haynes' Tabakit seat. And he went and described Dr. Rai Ragbi as a vagrant on a platform, and that created a furor also.
Yeah, I saw that too. That too.
So politicians need to be very careful what they're saying, especially these 2 weeks here.
So I know there's actually a poll this morning do you think that Marvin Gonzalez went too far, or do you think it's just part of the course of political peacock? And people will say, there's a certain level of political peacock that happens in Trinidad and Tobago on platforms. It used to be more of an art form between Manning and Pandey. Sometimes it gets a little rough around the edges, and I'm being polite in 2025. But whether you think that maybe he went too far or not, or is Jack Warner not justified in being upset? However you want to phrase it. But I'm just saying that could be the pool, because it was an issue yesterday and that Jack Warner raised.
Well, I'm going to raise another issue that we could also look at. But before doing so, let me greet Doreen Pierre, Nelicia Yates. Hey, Nelicia, how are you, my friend? She is she's listening from Antigua. She lives in Antigua now. She's part of the West Indies cricket board committee. Andre Reno from Bish. Trinidad Margo says, I found you guys. Siobhan Shogun said, good morning, first time viewer, loving it. I would like to say happy birthday to Barry Brown from his family with love. Happy birthday, Barry Brown. Cat Consulting Services. I don't know how to change my name as it appears in the chat. Are looking for help. When they think Kezel will come and help you, we'll ask her the next hour. Richard will ask her. Christopher Rowley says, good morning, gentlemen, from Luxembourg.
Try to me on your bacchanal, please.
That's Chris too, say, though. That Uncle Lennox, son, though. You had to help him. Just so John Ramlakan says, guys, I wish elections was every year because you're getting a lot of things. Cynthia Ramsarup says, good morning, gentlemen. Safe and blessed day. I ain't even responding to you now, Steph. Lester Cragwell says, good morning, guys. I find that such a petty issue. Which one is that? I don't know which one is that, Lester. Slick Money Grip says, blessings. Miss Arima, Young is illegitimate PNM and the president break. I don't know what you're writing there, Miss Lady. Ron DeSantis Jr., good morning from Norfolk, Virginia. All right. So this is another story that broke yesterday. And it is that former Attorney General John Jeremy appeared on a platform for with the UNC in Pinal yesterday.
What? So
John,
PNM having some defections to like the UNC then?
so it's like it's a back and forth taking place. You understand? Between the UNC and the PNM. So John Jeremy was a former Attorney General, people under Patrick Manning, if you remember. And he appeared and he even said that he is voting for the UNC and he is going to encourage his family and friends to vote for UNC. But you know, Wendell Stephen always finds certain things strange. So Wendell Stephen, thanks to people who also helped me, got some information this morning. And we may have missed it, but this was an article in the newspaper in May 2024, almost a year ago. You all may not have read it. I'm going to read it for you now.
It's nothing defamatory, right?
No. It's in the newspaper. A story by Darren Bahar. No, it's not defamatory.
But the newspapers could be defamatory too.
No, but it's not. I read through the article, but I'm just saying, Richard, I'm going to read this article and let people judge for themselves.
Go ahead, play yourself. Go on the defection. You do what you need to do. You do what you need to do.
So let me read it. It says, former People's National Movement Attorney General John Jeremy, who was a hair's breadth away from being appointed a judge of the Court of Appeal by the JLSC, has withdrawn from the process. On May 12th, Newsday reported that Jeremy was one of two people who was shortlisted to be appointed to JLSC, comprising Chairman Chief Justice Ivor Archie, Chairman of the Public Service Commission Winston Rudder, Attorney Elton Prescott, Senior Counsel, Justice of Appeal Charmaine Pemberton, and Dr. Albert Poussard. Investigators from the special branch were appointed to vet the incoming judge, the final step in the process before being appointed. Newsday has learned that Justice Eleanor Donaldson Honeywell, a former Solicitor General and daughter of former PNM Vice Chairman John Donaldson, has been moved up the merit list and will likely join Justice Jeffrey Henderson as the two new judges of the Court of Appeal. Donaldson Honeywell was appointed a judge in 2015. Henderson was, of course, a former DPP.
Yep, he was.
Yeah. Contacted via WhatsApp, Jeremy did not respond to a query as to whether he had withdrawn from the process to be appointed a judge of the appeal court, nor the reason. Newsday confirmed that at least 4 senior appeal court judges threatened to resign if Jeremy had been appointed, and others provided evidence to the Chief Justice to hammer out their case. Jeremy, of course, served as Attorney General under Patrick Manning in 2003 to 2007 and again 2009 to 2010. He is a senior lecturer at the Faculty of Law at the UWI St. Augustine campus. Prime Minister Dr. Rowley, they must include him, who returned from an overseas trip to Ghana and India on May 19th, was appraised of the developments by special branch. There was no response to questions sent to the Prime Minister and the Chief Justice on the issue. In July 2009, Dr. Rowley said in a newspaper interview, Jeremy's decision to offer his resignation to then Prime Minister Manning was the decent thing to do after the Law Association had passed a vote of no confidence against the titular head of the bar over allegations of interfering in criminal cases. I don't think the Prime Minister has any other choice but to accept the resignation. For the Prime Minister to do otherwise is to indicate that the Prime Minister is prepared to operate at a lower standard than Mr. Jeremy, and that is troublesome. When Mr. Jeremy was brought back into the cabinet, I made a public statement that Mr. Jeremy was unfit to hold the office of Attorney General, based on my knowledge of his conduct in that office. And to the extent that he has seen that too and has now offered his resignation, I can simply say that he has done the decent thing. Rowley said he would have more respect for Jeremy if he resigned on those grounds, adding, I don't know what grounds he resigned on, but if he has tendered his resignation, that means he has seen it fit to make that offer, and that's a very serious matter. An Attorney General's offer of resignation is not a light matter, and the Prime Minister now has to do the proper thing if this country has to go forward. All right? So that's just a little backstory as to John Jeremy's previous dispensation. And the fact
but I understand, and I understand that you need to bring up whatever you can to counteract him crossing to the UNC.
May I bring it up? No.
You bring it up. You went and you bring up for that. You went and you do homework.
Richard,
I am struggling on the show, and I'm saying, oh, we need X, Y, and Z. You were motivated to go dig in the barrel to get that article to come and say, oh, you want to play on your ethic platform? I'm going to see what I get.
Richard, if you see me join the UNC, trust me, there's a reason.
They will be digging in the barrel too for you.
They will be digging in the barrel too.
Aha, this is why.
And he was with that and then
oh God, you know what kind of bacchanal about. It's like the Barrage. I mean, I've seen two of his posts so far. Well, the first one you had shared with me, with regard to his criticism of the UNC and his scathing criticism of Kamala Persad-Bissessar as a political leader. And he did one where he was a member of cabinet, because he was a member of cabinet under the administration at one point. And he talked about his experience with regard to Kamala Persad-Bissessar, and was pretty scathing. I read it and I was like, oh my goodness. But you know, Devan Miraj has always been very scathing in whatever he had to say. And so he is the flip side, and a kind of, well, not the flip side of John Jeremy, but he's on the flip side in terms of UNC people who have aligned themselves with the PNM and it's saying vote PNM. So you have the flip happening now that John Jeremy, former PNM, is now saying vote UNC.
Yes.
So I can't wait for April 29th, quite frankly, or the night of April 28th, just to see where does this go. In terms
50% of the people will be very happy and 50% will be very depressed. Trust me.
Well, I mean, it's an even keel. Well, it's not really 50-50, but it's more like, 35-35 or 40-40. But because there's a percentile that is like, whatever, only help me pay my mortgage.
I ain't so sure about that this election, though, no?
Yeah, everybody says, you always say that, but what is our highest ever election percentile in terms of voting?
I think
I'm not so sure which I'm not so sure which it is, but whatever it is, it has been years and years and years and years and years ago.
You're right.
It hasn't been recently. And because you have so much of the population that's a little jaded about the politics and don't see the future of the country in any of the parties that represent us. But whether you choose to vote or not, somebody's going to be elected, and that I should say some party is going to be elected, and that party is the one that's going to rule us for the next 5 years. Make decisions that can affect you personally in your pocket in the next 5 years.
Yes. I've been through that,
So you have to decide, you have to make a decision. Am I voting, am I not voting? Which is your right. We're not like Australia where you have to vote.
Yeah.
So, you make a decision. But let me just get through the headlines quickly before we take some calls and then go to the morning poll.
Yes.
The headlines this morning, I'll start with the Newsday. Today is Tuesday, April 15th, just in case you didn't know. Ex-PNM AG endorses UNC Jeremy Bat Scamler. So that's the main headline. Let Loquan's legacy live on. These are sub-headlines. Pete Phillips' family still waiting for closure. And the main picture is that of musician Ray Holman as he plays on the Eagles wing at Mark Loquan's funeral at St. Vinbar's RC Church among Coco Road in Teco Martin. And on the back page of the Newsday today, TT swimmer Zalaha ready for Carifta splash, medals on her mind. That's the main headline on the back page of the Newsday. And Windy's woman in danger of missing World Cup. Moving along to the Trinidad and Tobago Garden for today. Tone it down. Acting Commissioner of Police Ethics Council issue warning as 3 arrested for inciting election violence. Tone it down, so says Acting Commissioner of Police Junior Benjamin. Jeremy jumped ship, and he's on the platform holding Kamala's hands, which Wendell just tackled in his own special way. Marvin under fire for put Jack in a box comments. That's on the front page of the Guardian. We played you that video this morning, and maybe it can be the subject of our poll. Khan threatens to sue 9 political commentators. Nobody on the breakfast show, I can assure you. And on the back page of the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian, West Indies lose again in World Cup qualifier, and that's all you need to know. Daily Express for this morning. What's making the headline? I'll tell you. Jeremy goes yellow. That's the front page headline. And of course, PNM people, in a little frenzy this morning, how do we deal it? What are the talking points? And they said the most important talking point is to give it to Wendell. He starts it.
What the hell is that saying on radio?
I have any confidence in you.
So Charles, you have any legal background. I think I need a lawyer now. Where are you?
Former AG makes shocking appearance on UNC platform, urges citizens to vote for change. And on the back page of the Daily Express, of course, a man of substance, and pays tribute to Mark Loquan at funeral, and there always is a wraparound. And Shallow Lords Harpy Eagles hanging by a thread. Poor performance have let us down. West Indies women beaten by Pakistan. Hopes of qualifying for 2025 World Cup is hanging by a thread. So that's it for our 3 dailies this morning. So now you know.
All right. Can I, let me say good morning to the folks out there at GNC Auto Security. Always tuned in. I don't know where you guys are located, but maybe you can let us know. And also to Miss Sampson, getting up very early with us also.
All right, great. So let's open up the lines a bit, because before we go to the morning poll, so we can open up the lines, and I'll just put up the ticker tape so you can see the number to call. Of course, the number to call is 281-1315, 281-1315. You can call it on WhatsApp, so it doesn't cost you a cent except internet. 281-1315. Of course, if you're outside Trinidad and Tobago, you have to put the 868. But you know what? You know the drill. Come on. So 281-1315. We'll take some of your calls before we head to our morning poll this morning.
Beautiful. And we have someone online already, so let's go. Far Rockaway, good day to you.
Good day to all you gentlemen. When they'll take this in fun. Last night when I saw about John Jeremy, I told my wife that you're going to come today and you're going to justify why he had to cross the floor and go across to the UNC.
I didn't justify, sir.
Yeah?
I did no such thing.
Yeah, you read a whole article just now.
Yeah, I read an article, but I didn't justify why he crossed the floor. I don't know why he did it.
All right.
Yeah, that's true. You didn't justify it.
Yeah.
But big up something. All right.
Don't try that with me, you know, Farrell Curry.
Yeah, he did not justify why John Jeremy.
One more thing. Nigeria and Trinidad said, I don't know if Richard said correctly, they started these talks in 2003.
Yes.
Is that so?
That's what the article says.
One part of the article a part of the article was that you all didn't read. It said that, and now the gentleman from Nigeria is going to look for an airline that is willing to make the trip. Now, after 22 years, you mean you come and sign something and you don't have an airline as yet? I find that a bit humorous, you know.
But there are several airlines in Africa. I don't know that they are there to look for.
Thanks very much, Far Rockaway. Thank you very much.
Just be happy now.
2811315. Caller, good morning to you.
Good morning. The poll was with Mr. Marvin Gonzalez.
We didn't do the poll yet. We're just taking calls at this point. We're being interactive with the audience at this point before we go to the morning poll.
You get the poll in about 2 or 3 minutes.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
And just reminding people that our guest in the next hour is the political leader of the All People's Party, Ms. Kezel Jackson. She will be our guest in the next hour. And we are going to get interactive with her as well, as we have done it with the other.
So please stay around to ask all the questions and things, man.
Yeah, and be respectful. Just remember that.
I was surprised. Anyhow, good morning to you, caller.
Good morning to Sir Charles. Richard and
Wake up, Zina, wake up.
Good morning. Zina, your MP get in trouble?
I trouble. If anybody who don't have no cover is Jack Warner.
that is facilitated. Eh? It sounds like something Jack Warner would have said, but I don't agree with it though.
Well, I don't agree with it, but what is such great hurt? Are you afraid to death?
Zina?
Zina.
Well, why that word does hurt them so? That thing, because I could remember.
Zina for men. Zina for men. Zina. Zina.
Yes.
For men. Men don't want to hear that word at all, you know.
What word is that? What word is that? What word is that right now?
Dead.
You remember a time when Dr. Rowley was traveling, the opposition didn't say how they traveling plenty. You can't remember who would say, let him fly, you continue to fly, let him fly, go and fly away. What was the meaning of that?
No. As I say, politicians need to be careful. People are examining everything now.
The words that are being used there, you know. When you're talking that kind of direct way, people just get kind of offended.
It's silly season. But I really, I don't really think that, I just call it silly season.
I think all Marvin has to do when he go on a platform is play what Jack Warner was saying about Kamala. He don't need to say nothing about Jack Warner. Just play the clips.
And it's probably the same thing, people who come in, anyhow, let me leave that alone, eh?
Yeah.
You'll get to vote on the poll just now.
I read about that same story there with that promotion and who, what, and so. You see, when that grapes turn very sour, there's have a reason to vote for that other side.
And vice versa.
No.
Charles, don't try that. Don't put words in Zina's mouth.
All right, okay.
Not be vice versa, because you move out, you get vexed out of sourness because of something. But those who coming over is because it's a good party.
Oh, okay. I missed that.
Clean.
Yes.
And they want to come over to the clean side. So it's a bit different.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
no
Collins, you are so correct. Jack Warner, and we said it, Jack Warner called people all manner of things, including Marvin Gonzalez. You understand? So if he get back a little thing now, well, but I would not go down the dead road because, as I say, the word dead to a man is extra sensitive. Eh? Men don't like to hear that word.
And dead and sensitive. I like how you put those words together. Caller, good morning to you.
Yes, morning, Shalom.
Hey, Mr. Patrick, man.
Morning.
Patrick, good morning to you.
I get a message when the man come my yesterday.
Gregory found you?
Yeah. Bow wow.
Good. Bow wow.
So when that cross me by here, he give me the thing. So I said, me call this morning, man.
Good to hear you, Mr. Patrick. Good to hear you.
So But people have been asking for all about it in the morning.
People asking for you too?
Yeah, some woman asking me, I want to know who she is.
Mr. Patrick, you're brave. Your wife not listening?
She listens, she go to work. Yeah, money I can get, she said, nothing wrong with that.
Well, at least you're stating what you're looking for.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, but people interested in more action for all about it. We know God, we know God, we know God.
We are back.
Yeah, so we're here.
Yeah, man, nice to hear. But the issue with Jack Warner is how like political become.
Yeah.
But it's going to be the subject of our poll this morning. You know, it's going to be the subject of our poll this morning, so people have the opportunity to vote whether they think Marvin Gonzalez went too far or not.
Thanks, Mr. Patrick.
I wanted to ask Mr. Patrick if he is offended when people use the word dead around him. Men don't like that word. I'm telling you.
What happened to you? You obviously don't like it.
No, I don't.
Do we have one more?
Unalive now. They're not using dead. They use it. Wow, you unalive.
So Charles, are we taking one more call or can I?
The call fell off.
Oh, the call fell off. Well, while we wait for call, maybe I could play the clip with Marvin Gonzalez again before we go to the poll. Well, you're not saying yay or nay, so that means
go ahead.
Made a decision and put Jack Warner as your representative in 2020 because he ran against me. I put him in the blasted box. He ran against me in 2020, parading himself up and down, blaming all kinds of things about the PNM, not telling you that his major objective of running for office is to escape extradition in the United States of America. You think he cared about the Lopino historical site? You think he cared about the Lopino historical site? You think he cared about Tony Ravin Road? You think he cared about that Lopino water treatment plant? You think he cared about that Diamond Hill Road? You think he cared about San Francisco Road? You think he cared about your lights on Lopino Road? They are a bunch of crooks. And we have a responsibility here on April the 28th to put Jack in the box once and for all and let us bury him in the Lopino cemetery.
He could have said Lopino, he could have said political cemetery.
Yeah,
that's probably what
the political cemetery that we have better choice.
Not the actual Lopino cemetery. Because I don't know why I feel that Lopino cemetery has some real goals and things running wrong in the night and thing.
I think what you have to tell these people on the platform, all they don't drink before they go on the platform.
I don't think Marvin drinks.
Yeah. Richard, let's get the poll and then we get anybody coming in now.
Well, you mean to vote on the poll?
Yeah, I understand.
All right.
I tell me a finalize the poll. Let me just take this caller coming in quickly. Caller, good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Sir Charles.
Morning, Davide.
Wendell, good morning. Richard, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I find now, because it's a short period, everybody should get like 2 minutes or less, eh? Right. Actually, not for the second caller. She got back to me, I don't mind. Anyway, I will vote in court. You know something? I talking it now, right? You know something? I always find politicians, Jack Warner, probably get all on his temperament, not there again. Who was telling people the worst things possible, right? And how now we complaining? And you know something? Did you all hear Kadisha Armin, what she said about Siot Young? You remember the night Siot Young spoke and he said the price of saltfish is this price and that price, and you heard what she said about it?
No, what
I'm
she
not
said.
I'm not going to repeat it.
You have bacchanal and you don't want to share it?
Well, I'm saying it because
it's saltfish.
I don't only get in trouble, right? So
no, we can't get in trouble. We can't get in trouble if it's not how I should put it. If it's not obscene language.
Yeah.
No, well, it's not. Well, right. So
it's smutty. You could talk more smart than Richard Ragubase.
Why you dragging my name in your bacchanal? I am sitting here innocently.
What did she say about the saltfish?
Yes, what she said, I'm not going to repeat all the playback. I know they will hear it. But so I don't have a problem. I voted one time, as I hear already. I don't have a problem with Marvin Gonzalez said, and that is not, I mean, you shall say the political cemetery, but everybody knows it's not the real cemetery. Lupino Silver Cemetery, I thought that dry up and everybody can't bury, nobody could bury there again anyway. So Jack still can't go there.
All right.
Anyway, just think about it now. Just take a short. So everybody get a shorter period to talk, please. Have a good day.
Ricky, no problem. Thank you very much.
Steph is reminding us that Jack also said, go and ask your mother. You remember when he tell a reporter that?
Yeah. I think I remember that also. Ask your mother.
Jack wanna no cover for his mouth, you know. So he ready. I don't know how Marvin affected him so. Because he never had cover for his mouth. I mean, Marvin also had cover for his mouth either. I tell him that already. Yeah.
Well, you're seeing, of course, if you're watching us on YouTube and Facebook, but if you're watching us on YouTube on our live stream, of course, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you become part of our subscribers. You're trying to get our subscribers up to 100,000. Yeah, we big. We aim for the sky. So subscribe on YouTube, and of course, you can like us and follow us on Facebook, and of course, all the other platforms that we're on. We should be on smart devices. I haven't been able to get it yet, but I'll talk to you about that, Sir Charles. I think there's one other thing. But anyway, our poll this morning: do you think that Marvin Gonzalez went too far in his statement about Jack Warner? We just played it, where he said put Jack in a box and bury him in the Lupino cemetery. So do you think that Marvin Gonzalez went too far in his statement about Jack Warner? That's our poll this morning. You're seeing the number right there. You can call us or WhatsApp us on that number at the bottom, 2811315. You can also send your votes via the comment section, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, and we'll get your vote. So vote on Facebook, vote on YouTube. We will get your vote. Trust me, we will. And of course, you can also WhatsApp us directly at 2811315. You can WhatsApp us message-wise, or you can call us. That's how the poll is now on, and we're getting close to 7 o'clock. We are a little late, so
yeah.
Give me the poll results there quickly, Brenda.
All right. So we have some couple callers. Let's take them. All right. What say you this morning, caller?
That morning again, and he didn't say that. I just say if he free to that, but he just bury people alive. Yeah, never hear people bury people alive.
What's your vote?
No. My answer is no. I don't find it.
Because we got it a little later.
You know.
All right, we have some votes on YouTube. Melissa Pierce says no. Yes to the poll. That's Ingrid and Tuso says yes. Dilip Celeste, Mrs. R says no. Steph says no. Gregory Boyer says no. Rena Budu Jennings says no. Salvatore Trancuso says absolutely not. DL said sadly this is the norm, so no to the poll. Keith Clark says no. Finbar Collins says no. So those are votes thus far.
All right. Callers online. Caller, good morning to you. What say you?
Morning, my dear. Repeat that poll thing again for me, please. Sorry about that.
Do you think that Marvin Gonzalez went too far in his statement about Jack Warner?
Yes, he did. Because once you deliver the graveyard, that went too far.
Okay. Thanks very much, caller. Poll time. Right. So
2811315, we could take your, I know we're going to news shortly, so you can continue to vote while we go to news, but
Gemma says no. Genji Gemma says no. Black Pearl says no. Captain Ron says no.
Morning, Captain.
Well, Miss Dabady already said no. Robert Taylor says no.
All right. Julia Batiste says yes. Rena Budu Jennings, she voted already. Lester Cragwell says no. Andre Reno says no. Wayne Ramsey says no. And if anyone has the clip with Khadija Amin and the Saltfish comment, send it for us now.
Yeah, send it for us, right?
Let's take a look at it.
More votes coming in. Sean Ram says yes. Nikisha says no. Sexy Red says no. And Anand says yes.
Morning, Mr. Ram Lugan. He might cross the PNM now, and you never know. Ambrose Blas says no. All right.
Caller online. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. Good morning, Richard.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, this is Jared. A long time I hear from him, but I just call it, my answer is no. I believe the election. This is what election is all about. So many people are really bad about that.
All right.
Thank you very much, Jared. Pauline.
I'm assuming you didn't recognize the voice.
Jared.
Huh?
I'm assuming you didn't recognize who Jared was.
Well, I know several Jareds, so I'm not too sure which one that was.
Okay.
I didn't talk long enough for me to.
All right.
Pauline says, yes. Oh my word. Caller online, caller, good morning to you. All right, what's going on there? Let's try another call. Caller, good morning, very quickly.
Virginia, no. Since when we became so wussified, no.
Okay. Wussified. When they used it yesterday. When they used a word yesterday.
Yeah, you faculty.
Look at me, I'm wussified.
Yeah, wussified now. We should write down these words.
Yes.
Any other votes in the comment section, Wendell? Before we go to
One minute, Wendell. Just take this call. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, this is Jared calling back to say who it is. It's Jared Manuel from Sunday School, Richard.
Oh my goodness.
Good, Jared Manuel.
Okay.
Thank you very much,
Sunday school, the man said, Richard.
Yes. I was in Sunday school.
Richard, we know you were an acolyte.
Welcome to our Sunday school. Welcome in the name of Jesus. We are so glad you've come today. Help us as we sing about Jesus. Welcome, welcome. A Bible is a rule in a Sunday school. Welcome, welcome. Welcome in the name of Jesus. You see, I still remember it.
Wow. Richard, you have fantastic memory. Kenwin says yes.
All right. We have some votes in YouTube.
And
you have more there, Charles?
What is that?
You have more to read?
I can hear people coming in, man.
Far Rockaway says yes. CJ from New York says no. Sherwin Kerr says yes. Jasodra Ramlakan says yes. Ram Kalawan, says yes. Eldon Coker says no. Hey, Eldon, morning. So those are the extra votes I have there.
And Trini Jam says my answer is to the poll is yes, but he's not the only one that went too far.
Mm-hmm. Well, I want to hear the Khadija comment.
I want to hear that so bad.
Yeah.
They like Bacchanal. Anyway, we're going to our 7 o'clock news, which is a little bit late now. And of course, in the next hour, we will be speaking to Ms. Kezel Jackson of the All People's Party and get a sense of where she sees her party in elections 2025, which is just a week, virtually 2 weeks away, a little less than 2 weeks away.
Mm-hmm.
So on.
And we probably will not have campaigning Good Friday and Easter Sunday. So 2 days out in terms of campaigning over the next couple of weeks. 2 days will probably be out. I'm not sure how people will treat with those 2 days.
Are you ready for the 7 o'clock news?
Let's go. So people stick around, and of course you can continue to vote, and we will give you your final count on the other side of the news. Right? We're coming back.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is Net Radio News Now.
In the news now. I want to tell them tonight, big jackass. Small jackass. Same lasso coming for them. Attorney General Camille Robinson Regis declared as she addressed a PNM public meeting in San Juan on Friday night. And you know why we coming for them? Because they bad talk Trinidad and Tobago at every turn they get. They bad-talked this country with the US over Venezuela. They wanted Juan Guaido, Venezuelan politician. Now Guaido is like Zambo, nowhere to be found, she said. She said Kamla Persad-Becesser, whom she described as opposition leader for life, and the UNC were rejoicing and gloating at US President Donald Trump revoking licenses, which would affect the arrangements for TANT processing natural gas from the Dragon and Coquina-Mannequin fields. She wanted to know whether the UNC would have left the gas fields that straddle the Venezuela/TANT border untapped. She said Persad-Becesser was promising heaven and earth, adding, "But I ask you this, how you paying for that? You talking about opening the Petrotrin refinery, how you paying for that?" she asked. Reducing the cost of gas at the pump, starting public sector wage negotiations at 10%, how you paying for that? Repealing the Revenue Authority Act and abolishing property tax, how are you going to pay for that? Robinson Regis asked. She said the PNM knew Persad-Becesser had no clue how this would be dealt with. "We know that she would soon take us to the IMF," Robinson Regis said. She said Persad-Becesser had not given one revenue idea to balance the 1,000,001 promises she was making to the electorate. Opposition leader Kamla Persad-Becesser has promised to immediately bring back her flagship laptop program post the April 28th general election if she wins. The former prime minister made the announcement whilst attending Hanuman Jayanti celebrations at the Jivan Sudan Ashram in Penal on Saturday. Persad-Becesser said she was carded to speak at the United National Congress, UNC, public meeting at the Rio Claro East Secondary School in Mayaro that night, but felt it was more important to seek the blessings and the guidance with you here in my own constituency. "I'm happy to see you all. You look beautiful in your red, and you will also look very beautiful in your yellow," she said. She asked if there were any children who did the recent secondary assessment examination, SEA, and one male student stood up. "I say to all SEA students after 28th of April, when you enter your new school, high school, big school, we should give you your laptop." "Okay," she said to loud applause. She noted that devotees sought the strength and courage from Lord Hanuman as she reminded them to keep strong in the face of any adversity. Persad-Becesser, who has been the Member of Parliament, MP, for Siparia since 1995, thanked constituents for their love and support over the years. Persad-Becesser said yesterday that she has always kept her promises as she dismissed the People's National Movement, PNM, questioning where will her government find the money to deliver on campaign pledges. The laptop program benefited thousands of children who are today young lawyers, doctors, and entrepreneurs. "Investing in our children will always be a priority for my government. Paying millions in rent and ensuring that friends, family, and financiers will soon be things of the past," she said. Persad-Becesser further said the UNC has a comprehensive education manifesto that proposes a revamp of the education sector. Smaller political parties contesting the April 28th general election could cause surprises which could influence its outcome. This was one of the findings of a North American Caribbean Teachers Association, NACTA, survey which was released on April 14th. NACTA said in Trinidad, there were close fights between the PNM and UNC in several marginal constituencies, and the results could go either way. The survey did not project any smaller parties who are contesting the election winning any constituencies on April 28th. But it did not rule out the possibility of these parties pulling votes away from the PNM and the UNC, influencing which of these parties wins marginal constituencies it needs to win the overall election. There could be surprises with the smaller parties taking some traditional votes from the two major parties. Generally, NACTA continued, these parties are struggling to get traction, but can play spoiler to both the PNM and UNC. NACTA said many of the candidates of these parties and any independent candidates in the election are likely to lose their deposits. A candidate needs to garner 1/8 of the valid votes cast in a constituency in order to retain the deposit. NACTA said Patriotic Front leader Michael Aponde and Progressive Democratic Party, PDP, leader Watson Duke might be the only two candidates in this category who might retain their deposits. Hours before the end of the 105-day state of emergency. On Sunday, 39 detainees were released from the Maximum Security Prison, MSP, at Golden Grove and the Eastern Correctional and Rehabilitation Center, ECRC, in Santa Rosa. However, 11 persons detained under the special regulations remain in custody as they are now facing criminal charges. Revocation orders for the release of the 39 detainees were signed by National Security Minister Marvin Gonzalez yesterday morning, one day after release orders were for the 11 who are to be charged, allowing police investigators to take them back into custody from the prison authorities. In addition, 3 of their associates will also be charged, bringing the number of persons facing criminal charges to 14. During the SO, which began on December 30th, 50 people were held under preventive detention orders, PDO. Yesterday, 6 of them were released from the ECRC between 3:25 p.m. and 4:05 p.m., while 7 was released from the MSP between 3 p.m. and 3:30 p.m. They were greeted with big smiles and hugs from loved ones waiting for them in the car park outside the MSP. However, there was much more restraint at the ECRC, where the detainees were instructed to get into waiting vehicles, which then sped off. Relatives of detainees held in the ECRC began arriving at the facility as early as 7 a.m. expecting their early release. They were not allowed to park near the facility and were directed only to approach when instructed to do so by a prison official. They waited midway along the access road leading to the facility, and the detainees were sent out clutching plastic bags with their clothing while their faces were covered with towels. Although the releases did not come until late yesterday, there was a heavy police presence at both facilities from early, with uniformed and plainclothes officers from special units conducting mobile and static patrols. And that's news at this time.
That was news now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio.
Join me, Brother David Muhammad, every Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. here on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio, Powerful Radio. Join me to hear knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Tuesdays, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. here on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Tune in to the Cheryl Taylor Radio Show. And the Empress Cheryl Taylor and the #1 DJ in the mix, DJ Superman Spin. For the best in Caribbean music.
Drink water and mind my business.
Hip-hop music.
Turn this TV off, turn this TV off. Turn this TV off.
Y'all gon' make me lose my mind. Up in here. Y'all gon' make me go all out. Up in here.
And R&B music.
In this paradigm, don't believe in paradise. This crispy when hell is like this. Got to be more.
Tune in for the Cheryl Taylor Show, Tuesdays 1 to 3 p.m. on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Stems. Yes, I can hear them saying, boys, stop living in the past. Where can I find that energy, the raw magic that comes down from the grassroots? Yes, I'm from a place where soca, the resounding power. You could feel anytime, any hour, sunshine or shower. You will feel it anywhere you look, and it read like a storybook. I come from when ground used to carry it. We used to carry it when the ground used to carry it. We used to carry it when the ground used to carry it. We used to carry it when the ground used to carry it. We used to carry it when Arima had it, Maturita had it, Santa Rosa had it, Donyaruka had it, in Mova had it, in Sawa had it, Soparia had it, look all over. Downtown famous the vibes when West people live from Link Junction and the town to head to the playground and to the link inside. Arima and Central Tobago and Southside. The traffic and insomnia morning down the by West Morin have cars parking like a garage. Me drinks bottle long like ruler in a cooler and reach it with the mouse to for Canada. Them time they ground used to carry it. We used to carry it when the ground used to carry it. We used to carry it when the flag to the carry it. We used to carry it when the cooler to the carry it. We used to carry it when Central had it, Korea had it, Columbia had it, Dipping Penal had it, 500 had it, when Enterprise had it, Nova had it, the Florida downtown fit was a safe space. 30,000 people of different background, confusion, PSA ground, shaking like an earthquake. But everyone was fine, it was when hot girl wine. We used to say the downtown massive and the uptown massive with no fences to separate. And it was like a rite of passage when your clothes get damaged, just you start fretting by the gate. 10 times did it grow, we used to carry it. We used to carry it up and down, we did carry it. We used to carry it when the flag, we did carry it. We used to carry it when the bag, we did carry it. We used to carry it, Maradona, we used to carry it. We used to carry it up and down, we did carry it.
Things just got better. You're locked into Net Radio Breakfast Show. Fueling your day with the best music and real talk.
Well, we ain't just used to carry it, we still carrying it. Remember, you're turned on to the Era TT Radio, and of course, the Pride and Joy of TNT, and of course, the Caribbean. We welcome everybody back inside our number 2. Yeah, this is your breakfast show. So, guys, good day to you again.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
All right, so we're back.
Richard, your mic is off.
I was wondering what was going on here.
Yeah, he's speaking, but his mic is off.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I took it off just now.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we're back on the Power Breakfast. Morning.
Go. Don't worry. We excuse you.
Richard, could you try to make that call? Because I'm getting it declined a couple of occasions and no answer otherwise. Could you try from your phone?
I can't right now, obviously.
Okay. Well, I was trying to get you before you got back on air.
Yeah. So anyway, do you think that Marvin Gonzalez went too far in his statements on Jack Warner? That's our poll this morning. Of course, we had, I don't know if we have any other votes. Do you have any other votes, Sir Charles?
Give me 30 seconds.
Before I get the final result.
I don't have any other votes here.
No, and I don't have any others either.
Yeah.
No, Richard, I don't have any others.
Okay, so we had 35 people voting in the allotted time on the poll this morning. And of the 35 people, 23 of you said no. You do not think that Marvin Gonzalez went too far. And 12 of you said yes, you think he did. So 23 said no, 12 said yes, he did go too far.
We had lots of votes today.
So that's the results of our morning poll this morning of people who voted in the allotted time about whether you thought Marvin Gonzalez went too far in terms of the vote. In terms of what he said on Jack Warner, which I would have played twice this morning just for you to get a sense of it. Of course, we will move shortly to our interview with Miss Jackson.
Richard, you got it, a link? Because I'm just realizing my last message since 1:45 yesterday afternoon has not been read. I'm now realizing that also.
Yeah,
I don't check my phones all the time, and I didn't even check my email today. But
Yeah,
I just realized my last message with the last promo that she had approved has not been read.
Yeah, so but I know she would have been sending links, so
yeah. And I'm trying to get her on the phone, but I'm not getting any answer.
Hopefully she will join us shortly.
Yeah.
Because she did agree. to come on this morning at 7, but around this time, a little after 7. So, yeah, so that's basically, wow, I have a lot of missed calls. But anyway, so that's it for the breakfast show this morning. So we're expecting Kezel Jackson, but while we wait for her to come in, into the studio, and I'll keep looking to see if she is backstage, Wendell. The biggest story so far for the day, well, according to the daily newspapers this morning, was the issue of the John Jeremy and him switching to UNC, and endorses Kamala in a shock campaign appearance, as all the newspapers phrased it. It's a shock campaign appearance.
Shocking. All right, so I got her right, Richard. So I got her, and
she got the email, right?
Yeah. So I told her to just check her email and click on the link and join us.
Okay, cool. So I will look
out for it.
I will look out for her once she's backstage, and I'll just bring her into the studio. So we have coming up Kezel Jackson of the All People's Party, and we'll be speaking to her. Considering, well, where does she see the All People's Party? I know in terms of the news just now, Sir Charles, maybe you could correct me, not correct me, but remind me, who was the political analyst that says that the only two people who may not lose their deposit is Makala Pandey and the PDP and Watson Duke?
Yeah, I think that's Dr. Bishnu Ragana. That's the NACTO poll.
Watson Duke and Michael Pandey and
Makala Pandey. They may not lose their deposit. So they're saying Gary Griffith will lose his deposit.
Everybody else, yeah.
What's Gary Griffith going up for?
St. Joseph.
Oh, okay.
But we will hopefully have Gary on Thursday. He's agreed to come on Thursday to discuss where the NT is at, the National Transformation Alliance. And of course, next week we'll be having a lot of politicians coming into the stream to present their case. We are also going to try to get Prime Minister Stuart Young. We will try to see if we can get opposition leader Kamala Persad-Bissessar, but she's somewhat difficult to get. She doesn't do interviews as much. But we'll see. You never know.
Yes, we'll try. Well, I guess we can take a couple calls. If not, we'll call Ms. Jackson directly. If she's having, not everybody follows those instructions in terms of the StreamYard link.
What are you talking about? Everybody follows it, Rebecca.
We've had issues with people, Richard.
Like whom?
I won't be able to recall all the names, but we would have had people who we eventually had to go to the phone.
Because of internet issues. That's the only reason that you would have. But we can take some calls in the interim while we wait on Ms. Jackson to join us.
Okay, so, call us, people.
So 281-1315, 281-1315. As we wait for Ms. Jackson to join us via video link for our interview this morning.
All right, so we have a caller there. Caller, good morning to you.
Good morning, Charlie. Charlie, all that on the TV or radio. Alexa acting up.
No, we haven't reached TV yet.
We're on YouTube. Go on YouTube.
Yes, but I have to, anyhow.
Just go on YouTube and put in New Era.
Explain to her. Help her now, Olio. Gosh, you like to rough up people, eh? Help her get it now.
Right.
Okay.
Go to YouTube and put in New Era TT Radio, and you will get us on YouTube there.
Okay, thanks. I saw in the news last night where there were 3 African women who were squatting and blaming the PNM for the situation they are in. Plus, they have children, and they keep using the children. Oh, the children have to read with lamb and with this. How people is born poor? Where is the father? The government needs to make it very easy for women to get money for their children because they have no fathers there. But they're talking about their single parent, and the PNM never do nothing for us. PNM there to see about the country, not to take care of you all and your own children. On top of that, they ain't paying no property tax and they're complaining about they didn't have no water, no light. Everything in Trinidad, 99% of the stuff is free. What more Trinidadians want? Free breakfast, free lunch, free books, free medication, free UV. What the heck? Have a good day.
All right.
Thank you very much, Ms. Sampson. Who just said the best things in life are free?
Somebody sent me an article also. You know, John Jeremy is going to come under fire in the next few days, right? You know that, right? It's bound to happen, right? So
But I'm assuming he's expecting it.
But I'm sure he is, because he didn't just go to a UNC meeting. He went on the platform and spoke and endorsed. Miss Jackson is saying you see what I said, Richard? I'll tell you another. She says she's trying to, but she's not getting through.
All right, well, I think it's
tell her to enter studio.
Yeah.
But if she's still having problem, we can call her directly. But she can simply click enter studio.
She said it's saying that her mic and camera is blocked.
Well,
so maybe she doesn't have the latest version of it.
No. You have to have any version. She needs to give it permission to use a mic and video. It would ask you for permission as it goes along, basically, like anything else. So she just has to allow it, basically. But if not, we could do it via phone or via WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could WhatsApp her. So if there's anything, you could just send me a number and I'll WhatsApp her. All right, Dabadi, good morning.
Yes, so I fell asleep when the news started. And I say, wait now, when was
you fall asleep when the news started? I don't understand that statement.
I was up since 2:20 this morning, you know. So I finished what I was doing and I fell asleep while you all was saying AI news. I think the AI news has put me to sleep, eh? I ain't lying to tell you. That's something with this AI thing. Oh gosh, I can't stand it. I write in here live things, fresh live things, you know. So I say, but wait now, I didn't hear the results of the poll neither, because that time
Ms. Dabadi, just let me interrupt you for a minute. So Charles, I just sent her number in the chat. She says to call her, okay?
Okay, cool, no problem.
Well, let me hang up now because I was saying she ain't coming on.
Yeah.
So Charles, I'll hang up now. I want to see this interview too bad.
Okay, no problem. Thank you very much.
You got it, right?
Yeah, I'm getting paid now. So you can talk for a minute while I just make the connection, right?
Yeah. So I was telling you about this article that someone sent me with John Jeremy, and it was an article for it was an article in July 2022. Former Attorney General John Jeremy should be investigated for misbehavior in public office. So says opposition MP Dr. Rudal Monilal. So all these articles, I think people forget sometimes what their past and what it entailed. That's why I'm telling you, Jack Warner and them, like, they forget what they were saying, the absolute worst and despicable things about Kamala Prasad Bisese, Jack Warner and Philip Alexander. And now it's all coming back to haunt them. You understand? I don't know if it will sway the electorate anyway, but we'll wait and see. You know, one way or the other, April 29th, life has to continue in Trinidad and Tobago, regardless of whom is the Prime Minister.
Absolutely.
Okay, I think we have Miss Jackson online. Miss Jackson, are you there with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you very much for joining us this morning. All right. Guys, are you there?
Yes, we are. So good morning, Ms. Jackson. Thanks for joining us on the Breakfast Show on Net Radio, New Era TT Radio. We appreciate you taking the time to speak with us this morning.
A pleasant good morning to you as well as your listening and viewing audience.
Morning, Ms. Jackson. All right, thank you very much.
I'm Richard. You're speaking to Richard and Wendell.
Yes.
So we are the co-hosts of the program. So, we wanted to start off with you are the political leader of the All People's Party. of course, we know the party exists, and we know I've been on your website and stuff, and what your intention is in terms of, the equality across all sectors in terms of Trinidad and Tobago, that sort of thing. If I had to summarize it, a lot of your focus is that. What motivated you to form the All People's Party?
A beautiful question, and that question is basically psychological and intrinsic, because I have always been fighting. I've always been fighting for the marginalized, for the oppressed, for the vulnerable. I am a fighter. As a humanitarian and philanthropist, much more is needed. And the more I'm speaking about it is relating to the policy. Our policies need to change. Our leadership as well need to change. The vision of Trinidad and Tobago, we now need to remove the blindfold and really actually see Trinidad and Tobago in geopolitical space. So my motivation was looking around and seeing no one there that is doing the job that is necessary to move my country forward and to move the grassroots man, to uplift the grassroots man as well.
But in addition to that, Ms. Jackson, because I don't know how long you've been in the politics, is it that you were previously a member of a political party and you were jaded, or you just decided that you want to do this on your own?
Well, I start off with just to give you a brief history. I have been a political advisor and a political writer while I was tutoring in UWI, University of the West Indies. I had no interest in the frontline politics, none, absolutely none at that time. I then was paying attention to the oppression as well as what is taking place in Trinidad and Tobago. And I said, you know what, I can sit and complain, or I can actually do something about it. I then decided to fund the Progressive Democratic Patriots, that's PDP, led by Watson Duke. I was then pulled in as the head deputy political leader. That is when my frontline journey of politics really began. And in doing so, I recognized that sometimes the leadership of one is not the leadership of all. I asked myself, now I finance this organization, but is it all my ideology? No. Then why not fight for your ideological perspective, and why not fight for your country on the forefront of the battle? I decided to open All People's Party and to embrace all people, as the name suggests, and to fight for everyone that may feel as though they don't have a fighter in that particular ring.
Yeah. Is it then that you were focused on Tobago at one point in time, or when you said that you were deputy political leader of the PDP, was that in relation to their foray into Trinidad politics?
Well, I would say national politics, because I do not believe in that divide. I do not believe in division. I am a mother of 2 children, and I cannot say I love one more than the other. Trinidad and Tobago, we are one country, so I don't promote the conversation of one as opposed to the other.
Okay, all right. And so you would have decided on your own to go on your own, that is, and form the All People's Party. How many candidates you have in this election? Because I know you would have had issues with a couple of your candidates in terms of their the process of the EBC.
I would rephrase that. I didn't have problems with my candidate. I have problems with the political involvement of the government in EBC, which is supposed to be an independent body. But it more seems like everybody corrupt. EBC, the acronym makes sense, right? However, at this point in time, we have 8 successful candidates that is going up for the 2025 general elections.
And you are one of those candidates. What seat are you contesting?
Yes, I am. I am contesting Port of Spain South.
Okay, all right.
Port of Spain South. So it's 8 candidates that you have. The All People's Party sending up 8 candidates.
Yes, we are.
Okay, I just wanted to be clear. For some reason, I thought it was more. In terms of, we had Vishnu Raghunath in the news a little while ago, and he indicated that in his opinion, according to polls and stuff, that the only 2 third-party candidates that he sees not losing their deposits are Michaela Pandey, maybe, and Watson Duke in Tobago, PDP. But he thinks everybody else will lose their deposit. How do you respond to that?
Well, the perspective of one is not perspective of many. He's one individual, that's one pebble thrown in the sea. But what I will tell you, sometimes life, even if you lose, is a lesson. And sometimes it is what we call part of the process. But again, don't be twisted by opinion, because when we give opinion weight, then it becomes a perspective. Yeah? But I don't believe in the perspective of one.
If you had to persuade voters who are listening to this program, and a lot of people will listen and watch it after the interview and stuff like that, because we are on streaming platforms, and you had to persuade the voters of Trinidad and Tobago, and specifically the non-aligned, because you'll have loyalists to the PNM, loyalists to the UNC, that no matter what you do, that's where they are. But you have a percentile of the country that's non-aligned. What would you say to them to convince them that the All People's Party is a choice that they should make?
Well, this is where the irony comes, and this is where sometimes my personality may be eccentric. I am not trying to convince anyone. I, Kezel Jackson, am not trying to convince anyone. I am not engaging in the circus politics at this time, because this is what it is. Come election time, they sodomize and they prostitute the masses. They come and they tell you everything that you need to hear. After election is done, you don't see these people. I have been working the ground of Trinidad and Tobago as well as the region for years. I have been giving up my time, my life, my resources to my country. I am what you call a real patriot because I love this place. I love this place that we call home. I have been fighting for them and will continue to fight for them regardless of the election outcome. So just ask me how I would persuade them. If they do not look and see what is happening in their country and they are not persuaded, look at what is happening geopolitically. I came out of my platforms and I told them, I said, there will be no dragon gas deal. This is last year. People say Kezel is mad. I said the dragon gas deal is dead in the water. I asked why they're making geopolitical alignment with so many communist regimes. I told them time and time before that the dragon gas deal will be a mythical creature up until it happened, and everybody started to pay attention. I then indicated to them what these tariffs will mean for us. Tariffs are coming. I told them Keith is running, Trump is coming. I indicated that Angus Young, Richard Young, and Stuart Young, they are the three masterminds behind the People's National Movement. It has been sabotaged and kidnapped under these three men. People again, they did not listen, but now I am getting air. In terms of what is happening in Trinidad, things are going to get worse. If you think it's bad, it's going to get worse. What the tariff really mean for us? It means that unemployment is going to be higher, businesses are going to close down, limited forex in this country. It means that food prices is already high, is going to get higher. The cost of living, a living wage, is a real problem now in Trinidad and Tobago. The cost of living is high, that is also going to get higher. We are import oriented. So how do we really survive the attack that is coming to us? But our Prime Minister put us, our former Prime Minister and present Prime Minister, put us in the middle of this geopolitical battle by making alliance and going to bed with geopolitical entities that not thinking about the future. So most of them are looking for immediate gratification. Remember, it's just 5 years. 5 years, pull our pocket quick. 5 years, pull and get out without thinking legacy and succession planning. Because we have made so many alignments with China, and it didn't even start with the People's National Movement. It also began with the United National Congress. When in 2013, when the president of China visited Trinidad, and Beijing Oriental Yuhan Waterproofing Company took over the pitch lake. This was in 2013. If you do your research, check and see what accounts for Alibaba's wealth. Alibaba now is selling bitumen, not lake asphalt. Can you imagine that? So we have to really think about what are we really doing? Where's the vision of our leaders? So then is one coin but two sides. So if the people cannot see for themselves at this point in time, even if they're blind and tell them use a third eye, how much more can I convince them? Go to the supermarket and see what's going on, and they will be convinced. Pay attention to the crime rate because it's a breeding ground from the socio-economic conditions. That and all is a persuasion. When you go to the bank, look at the bureaucracy and the bureaucratic red tape. It is so difficult for businesses right now to get loans, the liquidity of business. Why is it so almost impossible to access loans for businesses? To open a bank account, they want to talk about cashless. To open a bank account, they're asking you for your house, your mother, and your land. What is this in this third world country that wants to aspire to a first world country? What are our leaders doing? We have been having conversation about diversification with no action. So we are oil and gas oriented and focused. What does that mean for Trinidad and Tobago? Look at unemployment. People are still begging for homes and housing. Look what Singapore did. Look what other nations are doing. And if that doesn't persuade you, then maybe the Christ needs to come.
But tell me something, in terms of, because you're identifying a lot of the problems that we currently have and what you see is coming. If you were elected and you were made prime minister, what were the top 3 things you would focus on?
1, crime. We need to secure our nation before we can do anything else. And how do we do that? I made suggestions. I even scripted it in our manifesto. One of them, we have a backlog with the court system. And this is not rocket science, gentlemen. We can move away from just day courts and we can have both day courts and night court. So that backlog, if you have the night courts, we can aid in all these backlogs that they have. We have inactive community centers. Some of these community centers can become or be used as community courts to deal with matters in terms of land dispute and conveyances, taking away the bulk of the work from the court system, from the main courts. What else can we do as it relates to crime? We can put in place the spirit of entrepreneurship by building entrepreneurship within these marginalized communities. We don't have to imagine where the crime is. We have hot zones that we are well cognizant of. We attack the hot zones at the socio-economic level, because this is the root cause of crime. Then we say, well, Kezel, all have an equal opportunity. That's a blatant, blasted lie. We do not all have the same opportunity. You say that education is free. That too is a lie. Let me explain. So there's this mother that is sitting at home right now listening to your program, and she has to barter between putting a bread on the table and sending her son to school. Which one would she prioritize? Putting the bread on the table so they can all eat. So in terms of affordability and accessibility is not the same. Then you have what you call the book mafia, that every year is a new edition and a new edition and a new edition. Is there egalitarianism in education? No, there isn't. So tackling crime, we must also tackle the socio-economic variables that are responsible for crime. What else would I do to tackle crime? We need to move with technology. We understand that where the hot zones are, we want to have smart police stations as well. We want to equip the police with the high-powered rifle. We want to equip the police with the psychological as well as the sociological disposition so that they can be well disposed to deal with crime and criminality. We want to bring back communal living. We want to get community engagement with police officers, that we do not see them as an enemy, but rather as one that we embrace to protect and serve us. We need a mental shift. We need a paradigm shift. So I would robustly address crime. Then we have to address the situation with businessmen who feel vulnerable. Because here we have so many illegal weapons passing through legal and illegal ports. What is taking place with our waters? We are not guarding our waters, and to whose benefit? Because I'm sure it's not the young black male who has no money and no resources that is bringing all these illegal weapons into Trinidad and Tobago. Yes, a businessman begging and sometimes paying bribe to get an FUL. Should that really be? So I would want to start with crime. I would also want to push towards a skill bank. What is a skill bank? We know all who are the masons, who are the carpenters, who are the plumbers, assign job based on tasks. So we have a national skills bank. It is time for us now to digitize our society, because we can robustly move forward if we take the bull by the horn. I want to ride that bull. You know, it sounds so ride the bull. I want to ride that bull because it is too long the bull have been running wild. We also have time to digitize our health care system. You know, It was sad that I had to look at it. The former Prime Minister stood up and he said he's going to stand for the sovereignty of Trinidad and Tobago by standing with Cuban doctors. Please, save me the BS. You know why? Build a healthcare system that is parallel to the best. And you will take care of yourself right here. You don't have to run here and there in other countries to seek healthcare. That is saying to me that your healthcare is not as good as. Invest in it. Are you all aware that cancer is an epidemic right now in Trinidad and Tobago? Yet still there's only one cancer machine that's called a PET, a positron emission testing. And that is by Jacob Hadid, $18,000 per test. Why not equip these hospitals with PET CT scan machines? Why not invest in proper equipment for these hospitals? Why not? So we don't have to go elsewhere.
I mean, let me just ask, Ms. Jackson. I'm listening to you, right? And I'm impressed. I mean, you are articulating things that I'm sure the population would want to hear. What then explains some of the videos that you've been putting out there in the public domain where people are clearly ridiculing you because of what they're thinking about it, what they're seeing? Why those videos? I mean, you admitted just now that you're a bit eccentric, but why are you putting that out there in the public domain when clearly this is what should be out there? What you're saying this morning?
No, because if I continue saying this, you remember that we have all type of people in our society. This is where the psychology behind the politics comes in. Because you spoke about those non-voters. Many of them belong to that youth culture, that they may be apolitical. The politics doesn't apply to them. They cannot relate to it. So sometimes as an educator, if we cannot reach you, I cannot teach you. I will say that again. If I cannot reach you, I cannot teach you. So sometimes in these opening of these videos, I may use some theatrics because we are flamboyant, colorful people. Let's not forget who we are. Yes, let's be truthful to who we are. We are a flamboyant, colorful people. Why only black and white? Why must I sit in a jacket and tie and be all stiff and robust to say that I am a political leader? Please save me that. I will show you my colors, the varying colors that all embraces who I am. The theatrics sometimes grabbing your attention, the mask, because sometimes these masks as well may penetrate them. They may look at it and laugh. But it's also a hypodermic syringe model, because the more they laugh is the more they listen. And I will begin to penetrate the mind of those who may not have been inclined to even listen to political conversations.
So you're saying there's a methodology. So you're saying there's a methodology to what you're doing. You're doing it with intent.
Of course, according to one theorist, there's a methodology to the madness, if they want to claim that.
But you see,
because it is non-traditional in terms of the Trinidad and Tobago space, what you do. And so of course for a lot of people it's like, what is this? What is this? And Wendell is right, sometimes people ridicule and look at it and they will laugh. Some people will laugh. And so you're saying there is a methodology to what you're doing, and that you are I suppose making it. You want people to engage, even if you laugh, because you engage, you will eventually hear the message. Is that what you're thinking?
Correct.
The problem, though, Ms. Jackson, is that it's not followed up by that message. Outside of this program, I don't know that anybody has ever heard you speak the way you've spoken this morning.
I cannot say that to be true, because I have been on several platforms. I don't have to prove who I am, because as they get to when they begin to laugh, they begin to inquire, they research, because they go back into other videos. I don't have to prove anything to anybody, because I speak authenticity and I speak truth. I stand in my truth. Unconventional, yes. Unorthodox, yes. Outside the box, yes. And I challenge you to dare to be different.
Yeah. Well, we try to be different here. Yeah.
But tell me something, but because the running of Trinidad and Tobago is serious business, and the issues that we face are serious issues. Here where I'm going. I wanted to also hear what are your plans or your party's plans with regard to the energy sector?
I love what you are asking. So in terms of what is happening in the energy sector, I would tell you we have to start with some amendments. And the amendments is in the mind of the general Trinbagonian. One, our geopolitical alliance. Allow me to explain this a little bit so the listeners will get a clear idea as to what is really happening. Now, in terms of Trinidad and Tobago, from about 1906, we discovered oil. We started to have commercialization of oil. We went into several oil booms, and that has taken center position in the economy of Trinidad and Tobago. Our GDP is largely dependent on oil and gas. However, we can have the orange economy competing with oil and gas. We can have tourism competing with oil and gas. But oil and gas has created a handicap. You know, like you have one promoting and it handicapped the others. Why? Because while oil and gas was flourishing and doing well, we were supposed to develop the other parts of the body. It's like going to the gym and you're working out only your arms, top heavy, you're big to the top. But there are other parts of the body that needs working out. Think about Trinidad and Tobago economy as a body. We need to diversify. Diversify why? Richard Young, you are one of those, I would say, temple guard, flag bearers of theater. Why not even promote that at national, regional, and international levels? Tourists can come here just to see our performances. Open up our airport to reflect who we are. I want to walk through Piarco Airport and see sculptures of carnival costumes. I want to drive from Piarco to Queen's Park and see figurines and sculptures sometimes 1,000 feet tall. I want to have a carnival capital. That carnival is all year round. I want to invest into who we are. Who we are as a people can also bring money into our pocket. We can monetize this. We can promote this. Not all children are academically inclined, but is there an avenue? Is there another avenue? No. If you're not a marshal and a bungee, how many of them really and truly make it? Because we now have to open up the avenue, open up the sectors for opportunities for young persons with talent. Because talent can be fruitful. Talent can be rewarding. Talent can bring in foreign exchange. But we have to first see it. If we don't see it, how can we invest in it? How can we promote it? Let us also make alliances with countries who have done it. Look at Singapore. Singapore land size is 7 times smaller than we are. Yes? Singapore population size is 5 times larger than we are. And Singapore is one of the wealthiest countries in the world. What is their model? We are copycat society, but we're copying the wrong answers. So let us begin now to follow and align ourselves with nations who have done it, who are comparable to us, and we can learn from them. We need to make strategic alliances. Look at Luxembourg. Luxembourg is very small, yet they are the wealthiest country of the world. What have they done? Let's pay attention to Dubai. Dubai, like us, they are also energy rich, but they have also diversified. So much so, only 15% of Dubai population are natives of Dubai. That is to say, 85% are immigrants that came in there and helped to build that city that built out of dust. We need a realignment in our thinking, in our leadership, in our vision. But it starts as well with investing in the people.
Yeah. So let me ask you this question, Ms. Jackson. At the end of the day, come April 29th, I mean, you have 8 seats, so there's a very little chance you may get people in the parliament, but you probably won't get to lead the country, right? Let's look at the two main.
Stop. Let me explain something to you. So I also study political science. Let's go in here. There's what you call a kingmaker. A kingmaker. So I want you to just imagine this for a little bit. UNC has 18 seats. PNM got 18 seats. That is equating to 36 seats. And just let's suppose APP got 5 seats. who makes up the next government is purely decided by all people's party. You may play this. You may play this interview again come the 29th of April.
No, I agree. I'm agreeing with you because we have had a situation like that already. So I'm agreeing with that. But I want to zero in. I want to get your opinion of the PNM who is in government now and the UNC who was in government and want to come back in government. Give me if you had to pick one, who would you pick? If you had to pick one, forget about All People's Party for now, and forget about Patriotic Front, and forget about Gary Griffith's party. What's the name again? NTA. If you had to choose between the PNM and the UNC, whom would you choose?
Can I plead the fifth now?
You certainly can.
I believe it is time for me to plead the fifth.
When next you come back down by Rumbox, you'll tell me what you think.
Yes.
That's a good answer. Please on that one. I wanted to talk, Ms. Jackson, I wanted to talk about the fourth industrial revolution, which of course is the digital transformation of planet Earth, and where you see Trinidad and Tobago in that through the eyes of the APP.
Well, in the manifesto, I went even further. So there's what we call I want to bring in a med card. What is a medical card? A medical card is what we have an NFC software and QR code. So let's say, God forbid, Kezel Jackson drop down now. The ambulance is here. They have no information on Kezel Jackson. By utilizing that med card, they can tap on their device and my information can come up, my health history can come up. So it is geared towards first responders. Now, elderly people, they may not have a card, but they can have the band that bears the chip that we can just tap on it and we can be able now to save lives using technology. But if we have Digicel and B-Mobile that's still playing the monkey in Trinidad and Tobago, certain areas you still can't get Wi-Fi. It's not even 5G, it's no G, right? Then how really can we truly digitize Trinidad? It starts with quality service. And this is my message to Trinidad and Tobago. We have to hold these people accountable. We have to hold our leaders accountable. We cannot continue to accept this kind of haphazard, what they give, we accept, and we continue to accept this as a form of insanity. I believe the whole of Trinidad is a circus. And the politicians, some of them, they are the clowns.
Are you willing to take some calls?
Sure. Open up your lines.
All right, so we're opening up our lines at this point. You know the number, 281-1315, 281-1315. You can get interactive with the conversation. Of course, we're speaking to Ms. Kezel Jackson, political leader of the All People's Party. So you can call us via WhatsApp well, you can't call us via WhatsApp.
We're speaking to her via WhatsApp.
Yeah, so you'd have to send us your.
No, they can call. Let them call you there.
Oh, you
okay.
can still
Well, you can call. Okay.
Yeah.
All
right. So 281-1315, 281-1315, and we could get your. You can be part of the conversation. You could also send up some of your comments in comment section on YouTube and Facebook, which one they will read as they come up.
Yeah, well, they have quite a bit of comments from the Allen projects and Ingrid in Tucson. A lot of people are impressed by you, Ms. Jackson, this morning.
All right, so I think we have someone here. Caller, good morning to you. Ask a question.
Yeah, hi, morning, people. I just wanted to ask. I know I hear the wish list and I think it's well articulated and everything. So how do you roll it out on a going into a government where you might have specific monetary limitations, and then how do we roll out this wish list of things to be done with the present money and maybe the little that we have coming in? And I think how you break down this thing, because I think as a voter now, people could always give me a wish list, but now you gotta tell me how you're going to fix the roof, because the roof now is $30,000 to fix. The paint the house is 20. Change the tires on the car, is so much and so much, and then you realize you only have, so then we really have to always define the budgetary thing, and I don't know if that is something you all have considered.
Yeah.
Thanks,
So in other words, Ms. Jackson, how realistic it is to roll out the promises that you and all the other political parties, I guess, are giving? How realistic is it?
I wouldn't say I have promises. Say it is what can be activated. Promises of comfort to a fool. But I love the question that he asked. He asked how realistic, you have to fix this, have to fix that, have to fix. But prior to even fixing these things, the money must be allocated for those things. So I understand the question. Now, to this particular caller and to the many callers who may be aligned in thinking, I want you all to open your eyes now. I am opening up the chakra now. I'm opening up your mental spaces. Let's look at Carnival, for example. We are the mother of all carnivals. We are the inventor of soca. We are the inventor of steel pan. We are the inventor of chutney. But yet still that is not maximized to its optimization. Why not? Can you imagine Queen's Park, Savannah, every single weekend being utilized for cultural shows? That tourists now, they are coming, not just Carnival for 2 days in February and March. We have cultural expeditions. We have a staging of a carnival on the weekends. We have young soca artists, young calypsonians, steel pan all vying for positions. Can you imagine that as a source of income that is coming in on a weekly basis? Advertising now, I have traveled to so many countries and see Trinidad, I don't know, like we forget to advertise. Because to get people in, let's look from a layman perspective. To get business, you have to advertise your business. Where Trinidad and Tobago really advertise? Look at these spaces, and I'm paying particular attention to these spaces where people travel. So let's look at the Maldives, let's look at Fiji, let's look at Bali, let's look at Bora Bora, let's look at Seychelles, let's look at Thailand. What are they doing? We can now place our ads, our cultural ads, and make claim to what we have and what we own.
Okay, I think we have another caller online. Caller, good morning to you.
Gentle people, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Ms. Jackson, you have a lot of interesting ideas and worthy of consideration. But with 8 candidates, it's highly unlikely that you can form the administration. How would you be willing to whoever forms the next government to try and get an audience with them to share some of these ideas? Because I believe your heart is in the right place in terms of making Trinidad and Tobago a better place. What can you do after the 29th to get some of these ideas across and influence the government to follow through on some of what it is you're saying? Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much, caller.
Thank you very much, caller. So the question that was asked there, maybe he tuned in a little bit late because we talk about what is a kingmaker and how even 5 seats, even in this case, even 1 seat can make a difference, right? That I can make the next government just with 1 seat. However, in terms of what you are asking, if I can get involved in policy changes by probably sharing my vision, I have been doing that. Go back now, I had my television program, Crash Class, that they call the People's University, educating a nation for many years on both TV6 and CNC3, as well as Up the Islands. So I have been very active. I've been an active voice in these spaces. I chose not to make a political alignment with either of them. So in terms of their vision, I may have a vision, but remember, sometimes our lens may need to readjust. Some may be short-sighted, some may be long-sighted, some may just have other visionary issues. So it doesn't mean to say that every glasses can be put on everybody's face and we all see the same thing. So we have to look at the political ideologies of these parties. Most of them, they are about self-service, serving their interests and their pocket. Yeah? So I can sit down here and I can speak all of this, all what is sounding fine. Will it be applicable to them? What is their real intention? And this is one question we do well to ask ourselves as citizens of this country. And then you have a set of political grasshoppers that licking the vomit. They're licking the vomit. Today they're about talking this one. Tomorrow they're sitting on the right hand of the other one. Come on, man. Come on.
I was going to raise that with you, Ms. Jackson. I noticed that you have basically steered clear of critiquing the UNC as a government or even as an opposition and with their promises. I noticed you've not raised them in your discourse at all today. Any reason why?
Any reason this probably didn't get the time too. Because Kamala Persad is a two-tongued old snake. Kamala Persad Bissessa is a lying old snake. A snake will change his skin, but it's still a snake. These people go in and the parade and Jack wanna talk about Kamala, he's there. Right? I set up them battle and Kamala. Philip Alexander had the words to say he is there. Roger had the words to say he is there. What is really going on? You can't trust these people. Because for what? For political power? For political power, you choose to lick your own vomit? You're like a damn cow that begins to swallow their own vomit after spewing it out. What really is happening in Trinidad and Tobago? The UNC, United National Congress, called me for a meeting of coalition. I made a video. I tell them no coalition here. I want to get rid of them. I'm going to get rid of the United National Congress just as much as I want to get rid of the People's National Movement. I stand in my position. I can tell you, I am probably the only third party that really stands independent. These third parties, we are standing against Goliath. So everybody think I need to stand with a Goliath because I'm not strong enough on my own. But I want to be that David, to stand against those two Goliaths and knock them down. Because they will be a thing of the past. And don't even believe what they tell you about these bipartisan. Trinidad is only a bipartisan. That's a lie. Even in 1956, we had 8 parties. Don't believe that because that's how they use the racial divide to continue to keep themselves in power.
So do you think that the PNM and the UNC are no longer relevant to where Trinidad and Tobago has to go?
Well, you said it. You just said it. You just said it. You just said
it. Well, that's a good way to end this interview.
Ms. Jackson, thanks so much.
I'm sorry, no, I didn't ask you that question in the beginning of the interview.
Yeah, he just said it. He just said it. But what I want to say to you, gentlemen, keep on doing what you're doing. I would go to Richard Young shows and I would tell you, listen, I think that my heart is in theater.
Richard Raghubar Singh, eh? It's Richard Raghubar Singh, not Richard Young.
Raghubar Singh, sorry. I tell you, Young is in my head right now. Young is in my head. Good move. I am at war right now. And all the arrows are pointing at Young. But I have been to your shows and I would tell you, you are doing a very good job. I would like to probably have a meeting with you very soon. Maybe an election show. To have an election show after election is a good thing to do. And even though people come and they laugh, you have underlying subliminal messaging in every show. I pay attention. So
yes, you're right. And a lot of his plays is about my life, Miss Jackson.
But then I need to have a meeting with the both of you. I need to sit with the both of you. After election, please call me and let us have a meeting and let us really push forward because regardless of what takes place in election, I will still continue to be a patriot and push my country forward. So let us have a meeting after election and see what we can do for arts and theatre.
Guys, can you take a final call?
Yeah, we could. Ms. Jackson,
good morning, caller.
Yes, I'm open.
Morning, caller, go ahead.
Caller,
go ahead.
We're not here.
Yeah, the caller are not here. Sorry about that. But
I will send you. Look out for a WhatsApp message from me from Net Radio. I'll send you a package that you can have a look at, and you'll get and we'll talk privately on that, right?
No problem.
All right. So thanks so much, Ms. Jackson. We appreciate you taking the time to speak with us.
And do have yourself a good day, gentlemen.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Take care. All right. That was Ms. Kezel Jackson, the political leader of the All People's Party. I have to say I'm impressed. I have to say that. I have to join almost everybody on the online who said they were impressed.
Yeah. I mean, she made a lot of good points and a lot of valid points about the people-centric policies and using the people to monetize Trinidad and Tobago because your people are the most valuable resource.
Yes.
And of course, you know, I'm in culture, so what she would have said about culture would resonate with me because I always believe that there's not enough attention placed in how culture and the creative sector can transform the country. They pay some effort to it, but not enough.
Yes.
But you know, I've talked about this before. So
Yes.
So there's nothing new.
You know what was interesting about it also in what she said, Richard, and I think because, you know, as she says, the body of country, you know, each part is important, just like the hand, each finger is important. We don't pay attention to it until we lose a digit. But, you know, we have oil and gas, and we had that, and it was working for us so well that while that was happening, we weren't paying attention to the other sectors, and now we so heavily dependent on it. But now is a good time to look at some of the other sectors.
Yeah.
But this is where the breakfast show comes to an end.
Boy,
And
you know who's going to start a message again?
Yeah, I just want to remind people listening and viewing to please subscribe. We want to get to 100,000 subscribers. Yeah, we aim big. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And of course, and you can hit the notification bell. And of course, you know what? Beyond me saying it, let me show you. That's all your homework. That's all your homework.
Yeah. I have to get my background room with the One Life Live It. I'm working on that. Oh, by the way, I have good news for you all. I'm going to show it to you all. I'm going to send you a picture of it today. You and Sir Charles, you're going to absolutely love what I did.
You fix it.
You have a new baby or something?
A bit. I told you I'm volunteering. I'm volunteering to up the population in Trinidad and Tobago, right? I am a volunteer.
Nobody taking you on yet.
No.
The message is getting lost somewhere.
The wrong people taking me.
Anyway, this has been the breakfast show on this Tuesday morning. We'll speak to you bright and early tomorrow morning. Have a fantastic day. Whatever you do, and remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health. Have a good day, people.
All right. One life. Live it.
We used to carry it when they fly through the carrier. We used to carry it when they march through the carrier. We used to carry it, Marabella.